What's up, guys? I'm here to do a video so that I can explain to you things that I have experienced these last couple days amidst the coronavirus panic. We're not talking about groceries. We're not talking about we're talking about hand sanitizer a little bit. But we're not talking about the shortage of hand sanitizer. We're not talking about toilet paper. We're talking about what you need to do to keep me and yourself safe from any kind of sickness. Whether it be the coronavirus, if you're afraid of that, whether it be the flu, you should be afraid of that if you haven't gotten your flu shot, or anyone around you hasn't gotten your flu shot, or the common cold, anything. Any kind of sickness you want to avoid, these tips will keep you safe, probably. I sure hope so, because if you're not safe, that means I'm not safe. Don't get your car worked on if you're sick. I guess that's number one. Here we have my 2012 Dodge Challenger RT. It's got a 5.7 liter Hemi and it is beautiful. And I don't want to hear anything else about it. Back there, that's my 2004 Saturn Vue. That's it. That's all I got on that one. It's my winter car. During the winter, I put this one away because Wisconsin winters are harsh and this baby is soft. That's my winter car. I've got winter tires on it and it keeps me safe because it's all-wheel drive. I've got some tips for you to keep both you and me safe from any kind of sickness. Let's get into it. Step number one. These are your keys, okay? Some garages, when you take your car in, you pull into a service drive. The doors open, you pull in, somebody greets you, they get the mileage off your car, they take it into your service writer, they tell the service writer what your mileage is, what kind of car you're driving, maybe even what your name is if you're not feeling all that talkative. They are the first ones to come in contact with your car, and that kind of puts them a little bit more at risk than the technician. If this garage that you go to isn't like that and you park your car in the parking lot and then take your keys inside, I guess this doesn't really apply to you. But if you're taking your car to a dealership like where I work, then this is how it works. The first person who greets you is going to ask you and make sure that you left your keys in your car. If they don't ask you, that means your service writer is going to ask you if you made sure to leave the keys in your car. Now, a lot of people will take the keys out of the ignition, put them in the cup holder, put them on the dash. It doesn't really matter. If you have a push to start car like me, it doesn't really matter where you put them as long as they're in the car, you're fine. If you have a key ignition, meaning you have to put the key in the ignition, twist it to start, please leave your keys in the ignition. This is really only a precaution for the situation we are in right now. This isn't super important for healthy times, but we're not in a healthy time. If it's possible, leave your key in the ignition so that the only time your driver or your technician or your service writer or whoever comes in contact with your car first doesn't have to touch the key more than they have to. We're gonna stay right here for step number 2. Are you ready for this one? You've got a steering wheel. And if you're like me, your steering wheel has a cover on it. Okay, this is a removable cover. I understand that a lot of steering wheel covers are hard to remove. If you've got a leather one like this, or fake leather, or whatever it is that you've got, you're gonna be fine. Right now, where I work, those drivers that I just told you about, they are spraying down steering wheels and spraying down door handles so that this is all sanitized and clean before technicians have to go drive it. Before even they themselves have to go drive it. It keeps us a little bit safer. Here's the thing though. If you have a cloth steering wheel cover, or if you have one of those big fuzzy ones, those look really nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd like to have a soft steering wheel cover. Maybe in my other car, I will put a soft steering wheel cover. Those can't really be sanitized. The fuzzy ones, I don't know how you would even begin to clean those. Bottom line is, they can't be sanitized as well as something like this one could, or a plain steering wheel could. So if it's possible for you to remove the steering wheel cover, I very much recommend it. Unless you've got a leather one like this, or you don't have one at all. In which case, skip this. Step 2, leave your wheel lock key where it is plainly visible and we can easily find it. This is your wheel. If your wheel looks like this, with normal lug nuts, you're all good. Don't even worry about it. But if you've got a lug nut that is perfectly circle, looks a lot like this, there's little ridges in here that make it so you have to have a special key to get it off. The key looks like this, okay? It matches the ridges. There's ridges inside of here that match the ridge on the lug nut. They have to fit together perfectly to be able to get your wheel off. This key should be hidden somewhere in your car. People usually keep it in their glove box, in their armrest, underneath the trunk of their car by the spare tire sometimes. Without this key, we can't get your tires off. If you're coming into the garage to just get an oil change or whatever it is you might be doing, if they need to get your tire off for any reason and you have a special locking lug nut, they need to find the key. Any other time, I usually don't mind looking for this key. However, the world is a really gross place to be right now. You don't want me touching your stuff just as much as I don't want to touch your stuff. Before you come in to get your car work done, I have probably worked on 5, 6 other people's cars, meaning I've been touching their stuff. While I have gloves on, I've still been touching their stuff. I've been touching my tools. I go back to touching their stuff, I touch my tools some more, and looking for this key means I'm digging through your personal items. And even though I change my gloves in between every vehicle I work on, I still have to go back to touching my tools. My tools have touched my hands that have touched other people's things all day. I don't have enough time in between cars to sanitize my entire toolbox. Being inside of other people's cars, I am a little bit at risk here. But you don't have to be. As long as this key is out where I can see it, maybe put it in the cup holder, maybe put it on the dash. Whatever you feel like doing, just leave it somewhere and I'll see it sitting there. Your technician will see it sitting there. They can grab it, put it right back where you left it when they're done with it, and then you can sanitize the shit out of it. I don't care what you do. Just don't lick it. Everything will be fine. I didn't have to touch any of your stuff to find it. Once again, if you don't have funky lug nuts like this, you're fine. Don't even worry about it. This doesn't apply to you. You're all good. A few days ago, a customer came in and they had kept their wheel lock key in their armrest. If you want to keep it in your armrest, that's fine. I'll find it there. But to get to that wheel lock, I had to dig through layers of used tissues. I don't want to do that. And while you might not be the type of person to keep used tissues in your armrest, somebody else is. And when I get done working on their car and I start working on your car, there's a little bit of used tissues still on my hand because I touched my tools after that. Just keep that in mind. Not only does it mean for me that I don't have to touch all your stuff and risk getting myself sick, it also means that I'm not touching your stuff after touching other people's stuff. It goes both ways here. I'm trying to keep us both safe. Step number 4. You might be coming in because you got a flat tire and you have the spare on it right now. That's cool. That's fine. You probably know, because you had to get your spare on your car, that you have a lot of stuff in your trunk where your spare tire is kept. I don't want to dig through your trunk. I don't want to touch your diaper bags and your extra set of clothes. I don't care what you keep in your trunk, but once again, you don't want me touching all over it just as much as I don't want to touch it. I myself keep some things in my trunk. I have a bucket for when I go get my car washed. There's microfiber towels. I have tire shine, just to make sure my car looks nice after it gets washed. I have a box of spare clothes. You never know when you're gonna need spare clothes. I have a skull stick. Don't ask me why I have a skull stick. If you really want to be proactive with your life in your car, you can keep in your trunk the type of oil your car takes. And then when you go get gas and you check your oil and you suddenly remember that your mechanic has been telling you that you have a really bad oil leak for the last 2 years, and your oil's low and your car's making a weird sound, you can fill her up from this jug. On a lot of cars, underneath the floor of your trunk. You can lift up the carpet and there is your spare tire. If for any reason your mechanic needs to access your spare tire, they gotta go through your trunk. Sometimes cars have them just attached to the underbelly of the car. That's not the case then. Don't worry about it. If your car doesn't have a spare tire under the trunk, that's fine. Don't even pay attention to this part of the video. Just skip to the next part of the video. This doesn't apply to you. But if your car's like mine, please empty out your trunk. Once again, you don't want me touching your stuff after I have touched everybody else's stuff just as much as I don't want to touch yours and everybody else's stuff. I don't know how to position myself to do this bit. Step 5. I know it sucks and everybody hates hearing that their air filters need to be replaced because it sounds so stupid and it costs an amount of money you would not have expected for somebody to replace a paper filter in your car. But on occasion it needs to be done, okay? I promise you. However, your car probably has a cabin air filter. There's 2 different air filters that go in your car. One of them's an engine air filter. Your cabin air filter is a lot harder to check. If they tell you you need it, it's probably because you've reached the mileage it's recommended to replace it at. Because I don't know about other technicians, but I don't really check that because they're hard to get to. The steps to get to it include removing your glove box on some cars. The cars that I have worked on, the steps include removing your glove box. If not removing it entirely, then tipping it down far enough where you can get to the cabin air filter behind it. In your glove box, there'll be a couple of things, hopefully. In my glove box, I keep my owner's manual. Please read your owner's manual. If when you read your owner's manual, you see that your car has reached the mileage, that your cabin air filter needs to be replaced, just elect to have it done before you have to deal with the annoyance of somebody telling you that it needs to be done. Registration, maybe your insurance information, maybe you have a Motionless in White CD in your glove box. Either way, whatever is in your glove box, please take it out. There have been a string of customers lately who have brought in their car and I had to look in their glove box and they have empty barf bags. I don't know what you people are preparing for, keeping barf bags in your glove box, but I applaud you because I'm not ready for that day when I'm gonna vomit in my car. I'm not ready, I guess. Some people are ready though. Whatever you keep in your glove box, if you know that your cabin air filter is gonna get work done, take it out. Especially if it's something like a phone charger or an auxiliary cord. Those things get touched by you often, and they're not really the first things you think about when you think about sanitizing your home and your car. Think about how many other people's phone chargers I've been touching, and how many other people's auxiliary cords I've been touching. The sun is going down, so the lighting here is not great. But a final tip, and this mostly comes out of my own concern because this is a really weird and dirty and gross time for a lot of people. It's also tax return season, so I know now's the time where a lot of people decide to use the extra money they're getting to buy or fix cars. I want you to feel safe bringing your car in to get worked on. I don't want you feeling like the mechanic who works on your car could be sick and get you sick by breathing in your car or touching your stuff. And I don't want this video to cause a weird paranoia about germs. I just want you, the customer, to understand that we come in contact with a lot of people's stuff every day, looking for those wheel lock keys, touching those steering wheels, touching the stuff in your trunk to get to the spare tire. All of those things we have to dig through to access to be able to provide you with good car maintenance. Bringing your car in to get work done is not how you expect to get sick. And it might not be. You might be completely fine ignoring all of these things that I'm saying. But I don't want to get sick touching sick people's stuff. And I don't want to be the reason that you are unclean or unsafe in your own car. So one final tip: if you don't want a complete stranger touching something, don't leave it in your car when you bring it to us. I know a lot of stuff is easy to forget that you keep in your car, like hoodies, water bottles, reusable cups, stuff like that. Take a quick inventory of your car before you bring it in. Take out anything you wouldn't want a complete stranger with the dirtiest hands to touch, because I am not a voice for every mechanic. I'm only a voice for what I know and how I work, and I can't guarantee you that every mechanic is working like I am and changing their gloves between every car, using hand sanitizer every chance they get, washing their hands for 20 seconds at a time. None of that can be guaranteed, but you can take responsibility for your own self and take the things out of your car that you don't want dirty hands on. I am pretty sure a lot of you are going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to get through this. Your car is going to come through shiny and beautiful. Not as shiny and beautiful as mine, but shiny and beautiful. And everybody's going to hang out again. We're all going to be able to hang out in groups of more than 10 again someday. And everybody's going to be healthy as they can be. Just wash your hands. If you found this video helpful or informative in any way, tell me what you liked in the comments. Share the video with your friends. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more stuff with the mechanic thing that I do. I don't really know what it is that I do, but if you like it, please subscribe. And for the love of God, please wash your hands. See you next time.